Welcome back to Bad Movies Rule, the worst movie podcast ever recorded. And today you turds are going to graduate into maggots while we talk about Major Payne. Let's go. What a banner day. A banner day. First time ever. We've got two women in the booth at the same time.
Yes.
Oh, yes, it's ladies. Morning. Morning day.
What's up, guys?
Hey.
Oh, what a morning.
That's right. Well, before we get to our special guest today for the, 75th time, even though we've only done 50-something episodes.
Yes.
Kurt Mummer's in the house.
Hi.
Hi, Kurt.
I'm so happy to be here this morning.
You seem like you're beaming this morning.
I'm beaming.
You've got a pin. You got your daughter's pin on your chest.
No, this is my wife.
What do you mean?
Same
That
age.
kid's like 5 years old.
Yeah. No, that's my wife.
You just wear a pin of your wife when she was 5.
Yeah. I love her that much that I just put a pin on my...
Yeah, but why not, a current one?
Because they don't make buttons like that anymore, I don't think.
You're right. They
should.
stopped making buttons 20 years ago.
Immediately upon leaving, I'm going to a photo shoot and getting a button made of myself for my husband to wear because that is precious.
Thank you.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
And you just heard her voice. Nicole Freer is back.
Here I am.
What is this? The number 4, I think?
3.5.
3.5. Right, because we haven't started. Right. First time back since. Oh, why am I drawing a blank now? I don't know. There was Jingle All the Way,
Yes.
and then there was
Another movie that I can't.
Fifth Element.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
I can't.
And the other one that you were in that we talked. Oh, Johnny Dangerously.
Thank you. Oh, of course.
I just thought about the testicle scene, and then I remember how uncomfortable you were, and that's what maybe triggered in my brain.
Great.
All right, so
how's this movie going?
special guest. We have a special guest in the house
Yes.
for the first time ever, Miss Anna Fielder. Hello, Anna.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. We've been trying, I think, since way back to figure out a spot to get you in, so I'm very excited that you're here.
Yeah, I'm glad that you saved the best movie for me.
Well, that's what I did. I said,
I'm so excited.
what are we going to do with Anna? Major Payne. It was, well, Shane shared with me. You think you even shared with me in an email that this is one of the ones that you love. So here we are. So Anna, tell the people at home a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm an artist. I am a cosmetologist. I do hair. And I also have a side gig called Custom AF Designs where I refinish furniture. And I'm now making TikToks.
It's Custom AF.
It's Custom AF Designs. So my actual
Not just custom, but they're custom
AF Designs. Well, so my real name is Anna Haley, like my legal name.
Yes.
My married name is Anna Fielder. And so that's like my stage name. And so Custom AF is a double entendre of the Custom Anna Fielder Designs,
Nice.
but also like tongue in cheek.
Yeah, so your TikToks are awesome. What's your TikTok
At
page?
Coffee with Anna
Got
on
it.
TikTok. I just actually for Mr. Kurt here refinished a Beetlejuice dresser for him.
I saw
which
that.
has like 700,000 views.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just made a
What?
Beetlejuice
Out of nowhere.
Like, I don't know furniture. What's it called? Is it just called a dresser?
It's a
But because it looked
dresser.
like this huge thing.
Yeah,
Well, and
it's like-
what's great about that piece is it kind of reminds me of the Beetlejuice like art that the mom in that show would make.
Yeah.
Right.
In that
it looks
movie.
like it's gonna come
Yeah.
alive.
Is it an armoire?
No, it's an actual dresser, but it's like a tall, weird.
It's
It's like,
like-
there's a drawer that's way too high for anybody to see in it, but it's like you'd store sweaters or something in there.
Right. Yeah.
But it's like a colonial piece. It's just a really cool vintage piece.
Or candy you don't want your kids to have.
Yeah. Well, that's where I would have my.
Well, and on a crazy
That's right.
whim, you just posted it and you're like, hey.
I didn't. It was so cool looking. I didn't know
Yeah.
what to do with it. And Kurt's like, and I posted on Facebook. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. And he's like, paint it black and white and put some green handles on it. And I was like, he's like, make it a Beetlejuice dresser. And I was like, I am in if you are in. Like, let's do this. And so like we mocked up the same, like took our little iPhone coloring whatever and sent the same picture to each other of like our mock-up. And it was the same. I'm like, we can't not do this.
Perfect.
I love it.
But then it was the first piece that I was like, oh, I'm going to record this. And I did it in a fast, whatever.
Time lapse.
Time lapse. And it blew up. And I
Yeah,
was like,
it
oh,
was
I was
crazy.
grossly unprepared for this. It's pretty awesome.
And here you are. So, guys, if you get a chance, check it out at Coffee with Anna on TikTok. I'm so excited that you're here.
I am so
We've known Anna for a long time. Anna went to high school with us a million years ago in the 1900s.
Yeah.
People say that and they mean it. Come on.
I know. It's great. It's great. All right. Well, look, let's dive in because I want to hear your overall impressions of this movie. I want to get where everybody's at on this. I don't know if it's your first time seeing it, if it's something that you saw 100 times. But Kurt, why don't you kick us off?
So back 100 years ago when we were drafting this, basically we didn't really know where the show was going at the time of the draft, really.
Right.
And so when we did this draft, I just basically picked all my favorite movies from my childhood from like, say kindergarten up to, senior year. Yeah. And this is one of those movies that just kind of falls around probably my sophomore year. And I love it. The movie's always been a part of my lexicon. Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite Damon Wayans movies. I also love it because it's very character driven. Mm-hmm. I feel like there's kind of a missing like piece to movies today where like you almost 100% believe this outlandish character. I go like Major Payne, Ace Ventura, like those kinds where it's just so over. Billy Madison, that's another one. It's just so over the top.
These types of movies were having a moment.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. So this is one of my favorite movies. So that's kind of where it started for me.
And so when you went back to it for this, I'm assuming you went back to it this week or you just...
Yeah, I watched it twice.
Did it hold up to you?
Yeah, I loved it. I still love it. Right. I mean, it was funny as I was watching it, the lines were coming back into my head.
Oh my God, so many.
And all of a sudden you're like, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of stuff too that obviously you see that's a little outdated.
With
and you're
fresh
like,
eyes.
Yeah, you're like, that probably wouldn't go over too well nowadays. Mm-hmm.
So. No, it'd definitely be a short film. It'd be like 15 minutes long. It'd be a sketch on Saturday Night Live. That's what it would be now.
Yeah. Or in living color.
Right. Oh, yeah. Because of who it is.
I get it.
Nicole, was this your first time seeing it?
See.
Oh, now I'm really interested.
I've never seen it. Are you okay over there?
I am in the pure utter shock.
Yeah.
Like I like it's just a core memory. I don't even know when I first watched it. It just was in there in my brain.
Wow.
See?
Like one of those balls that turn from like blue to gold or whatever. Yep. Yeah. That's a different movie. Never mind.
No, it's okay. So, but what now, someone who's fresh and coming in for the first time?
I am fresh.
As you're fresh and it was fresh.
Right.
Yes. So what'd you think?
I think some things didn't hold up necessarily, but I admire the commitment to character. And I'm already ready for the end of the podcast when we talk about who our favorite character is.
Yes.
So obvious.
Okay.
But I won't say it yet.
All right, don't say it yet. Let's save that. That's a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
It's going to be so...
What a pro
awesome.
Nicole is.
Right?
What a pro.
Wait for the end.
We got him on the hook.
But it's a comedy, right? So I got the only question I asked before we move on is, did it make you laugh?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, then mission accomplished, at least to a certain extent.
I wouldn't say like a laugh a second.
No.
But I laughed.
But you laughed.
Yes.
You made audible noises.
Affirmative.
Okay. Couch noises at Nicole's house. That means noises from your couch.
That's her new show.
Not that the couch is making noises.
Okay. I was like, is this Pee-wee's Playhouse? What's happening?
Today's
Never mind.
secret word is sensitive.
I wrote that down. On my notes, I have someone somewhere right now is saying sensitive.
There you go.
Nailed it.
So I got the sense already that you love it, but tell me about how you feel about this movie and why this is such an important one to you.
I do love this movie. I think I watched it at some point in high school, and then it just became like it's in my vocabulary. Like I'm wearing a Major Payne pin.
Yeah, I was going to say, look at that.
Bought 2 years ago to put on our wall. Like, I can't. I'm so excited.
You're really
I've never seen any Major Payne. Maybe a T-shirt might.
I mean, there's Major Payne swag. Apparently, this is the only pin probably made for this movie.
Would that
Incredible.
be a major pin?
It's a major
It's a major pin.
And that, sir, is a major pun.
But
Thank you.
To this day, my best friend in high school, Eric, to this day, when we get into the same room, it literally is just Major Payne quotes. And and he always remembers more than I do, which makes me mad. But I love it.
Goals.
I just think it's hysterical. I can't. I will wait to talk about it.
Okay, perfect.
I'm so excited.
Well, all right. So this is good. So I think I'm in the middle. I think I'm in the middle of you and Anna and then Nicole, because I did see it the same time you guys did back in the 1900s. Okay,
sure.
When they had to run the cinemas by wheel. Okay,
Yeah.
And we only
There was
had
just a
hoops
guy.
with sticks to play with.
By hand,
Right.
by hand crank.
Right, hand crank.
Yeah.
It's just a guy on a bike.
It's good.
Stationary.
It's always interesting seeing things through fresh eyes now as an adult. having lived much more of a life and having kids and all these things. And it's basic. I mean, the movie is basically like this man-child struggling with PTSD yelling at kids for 90 minutes, right? I mean, that's the premise of the movie, and who can't laugh at that? So it was funny. It was still funny. It's got some major issues. Nothing more than like what most comedies from the time suffered from. I think that's what you're talking about. Like
Major Issues was a different movie.
Yes, that's the sequel that never happened. They were going to follow up with. Yeah. I went to school with the Major Issues. Here's the thing. Back then, the big Hollywood comedy would just be like, let's set up a framework from which to hang comedy on, and we're not really going to be concerned if there's like a coherent through line, like from a plot standpoint, right? It was just like, what's the premise? And then what happens in those movies is the first 20 minutes are solid plot-wise because you're setting up the premise. And then from there, you don't really get a lot of forward momentum. It's like, now we've got the setup, we can hang jokes on it, and then we'll just decide to end it at some point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that is very much a product of it's very much a product of its time in that respect.
Yes.
But it's still enjoyable.
Which is kind of the niche that I was talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely, and again, Happy Gilmore is probably another one that would fit in there where it's just this over-the-top character and eventually there's an end to the movie.
Right.
And did you laugh along the way?
Did you and are you laughing along the way? So if you're catching us on YouTube right now, I got to do the obligatory thing, okay? What do they say? Smash that like button.
Yeah, smash that like button.
Or just click it however you want.
Just click it.
Fine.
Yeah, don't ruin your phone.
Gently.
They're
you can
expensive.
gently click the like button. If you do, it helps us get pushed out to more people.
Just do it
Thank
aggressively.
Yeah. Just go ahead. What's up? It's your boy. Mutilate that like button.
Smash those likes.
Look, and if you've been listening for a while, you know the best way to get in touch with the show is through our email address. This show is trash@gmail.com. We love to interact. We love to answer your guys' emails. So please, if you want to reach out, lodge complaints, I don't know, drown your sorrow by screaming into the void, whatever. I mean, I feel like Major Payne was a character that just needed like a pillow to scream into. He would have felt a lot better. Like, we can be your pillow to scream into if you want, okay? This show is trash.
I mean, there was a counselor like right there.
Literally right there.
I will say that mailbag number 7 I enjoyed. I got some compliments on that one. Yeah.
Although almost everyone that emails about you spells your name with a K.
That's all right.
Every single one. I don't know why, but
Does
it bothers me.
that hurt you?
It does. It does. It hurts me.
Oh, and look, and if you've been listening for a while and you want that next level experience, head to patreon.com/badmoviesrule. The link is in the show notes. There you can hear the after party, right? We keep recording after the show ends.
Get in the club.
You can get in the VIP club section. It's really, some incredibly weird things have happened so far. You can submit your own Will Patton Award and Trash Can Full of Dirt to be read on the show. You can vote on upcoming episodes. You can be in the company of legends.
And us.
Hang on. I have this read to do, and then I misplaced. Okay. Just so you guys know what I'm doing. People at the Patreon at a certain level get these crafted shout-outs. Guys like David Parkinson, okay? Now, look, I'm telling you, Kurt, the people that join this are the coolest people I'm finding out about these guys.
That guy's definitely cool. He's got a disease named after him.
Seriously, this guy is such a legend. He once threw a party inside the White House and the Secret Service never found out.
Wow.
Okay?
Unreal. How did you find that out?
1,000 people were there. He told me about it.
Oh.
Yes.
1,000?
They had a band.
What?
The president's wife sang karaoke. Okay? I heard it was just insane.
Wow.
Were you there?
Is this a real story?
I don't think I was.
I was there.
Were you there?
No, I wasn't there, but I heard about it from a guy.
From a guy?
Yes. I guess Dave forgot to CC me on the email or something. I don't know, but it's all good because apparently they, now that once it got out, they tried to come after him, but he has a standing pardon with the president, like no matter what. This is what I'm telling you. The guy's a legend. He's a party animal and a 5-time ballroom dancing champion, David Parkinson.
Unreal.
It's great. You can hang out with people like this by becoming a member of Bad Movies Rule Patreon. So come on, join us. It's fun.
Yeah, do it. I dare you. I triple dog dare you.
I mean, I might have to join just to find out what more
That's
about
what I'm
this
saying.
guy.
That's what I'm saying. He's the coolest. All right, so let's get into the vitals of Major Payne, as we do. All the particulars so that you know everything before we jump in with both feet. This movie was directed by Nick Castle. Anybody familiar with Nick Castle's work?
No idea.
So as a director, Last Starfighter, he directed. I don't know if you ever saw The Last Starfighter.
Never seen it.
Not one person in this room has seen The Last Starfighter?
Nope.
Not yet.
Do I need to put that in my repertoire?
Yeah,
Is it
1984.
on the list?
I'm gonna write
Yes,
it down.
1984. It's
wasn't-
about this kid who literally is so good. He like lives in a trailer park, and he's so good at playing the Starfighter video game that's out in front of the like diner or whatever.
That's Ready Player One.
No, this
my
is
God, I love
1984, way
Oh.
before that. And what he finds out, what he doesn't know, is that aliens put the video game there to recruit fighter pilots, like people that got to a certain level in the game. They would come down from space and be like, "You're a starfighter now," and take them to fight in the
when
galactic
I play
war.
games on my phone, which is not that often,
Yes.
a lot of times I'm going, is someone recruiting me for something? Like if it, I don't. Play
I was made for
Wordle,
bigger things.
right? But it's like
saying.
the other ones when it's like, oh, I found that word way faster than probably anyone else did, and I'm pretty sure either Mensa or the FBI,
Somebody knows
or
about it.
some kind of secret service organization
Yes.
is coming to get me. So
So that's basically the movie.
Yeah.
You would love it then, Nicole.
I
if that's
so.
Felt that way playing Orguy on Trail.
How many times did you
Man,
die of dysentery?
someone gonna rope me in and put me on a wagon, head me
Yeah.
out west.
I want to put you on a wagon and mail you west
Exactly.
sometimes.
like Nirmal to Abu
So
Dhabi.
the other thing with Nick Castle, Nick Castle's been a director. He directed this movie. He directed Last Starfighter, but he also played Michael Myers in the original Halloween.
Really?
The guy that directed this was The Shape, and he's even in the newer ones. I don't know if you've seen the newer ones, like Halloween Kills. I think was the most recent one with Jamie Lee Curtis is back now, and he's still doing it now today, playing the Michael Myers role.
That's awesome.
But in the first one, the original, I think you see his face for like a split second. He pulls off the mask or something. They hired a different actor to be the face, like for when the mask came off. But when he's just walking around being Mike Myers the whole movie, it's Nick Castle, the guy that directed Major Payne,
He was like, yeah, I can walk slow and creepy.
right?
was made for it.
Easiest money of all time.
Ever.
Seriously, ever. Just stand there like this. That's it.
Can you hold a knife?
Can you be ominous?
So here's
No.
here's the concerning thing about the Major Payne vitals. This was I usually have the writer listed on here. It was written by 7 people.
Including
Well, I didn't even write their names down because I'm like, I'm going to have a 4-page outline if I have all their names
but
down.
Damon
here.
Wayans is one of them.
He is
He's
one of
gotta
them.
be.
Yes, Damon Wayans is one of them. But there was the story guys got their credit, and then there was 3 guys that wrote an earlier screenplay, and then 3 guys, including Damon Wayans, who rewrote that screenplay. And so anytime you've got like screenplay by committee, it always makes me like nervous. It usually doesn't
And well,
end well.
Groupthink.
In this case, I think it was okay, but man, that's never a good thing. Movie star Damon Wayans, as we have mentioned I think, a couple times from at the time, when 95, what had he done? He had done In Living Color. He had last.
Bullet Proof, I think.
That wasn't out yet.
Oh, that wasn't out yet.
I had to.
No.
In the color. Okay, go ahead.
Last Boy Scout. That was his big breakout with,
God, I
with
love that movie.
Bruce Willis.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think that was 94. I think it was the year right before this. And so this was kind of his first big solo thing was Major Payne. Also starred Steve Martini and Chris Owen, who I think Chris Owen went on to do American Pie, right? The little redheaded,
Yes.
Yeah.
freckle-faced cartoon
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah.
Super handsome now as an adult, just
Is
so
he?
you know. Yeah.
He got hot?
Shane was like looking up the actors last night.
Yeah.
And he was like, he kind of reminds me of Benedict Cumberbatch. I was like, all right, let me see. But it like,
Wow.
And he's like, his ears don't stick out so much. I'm like, I wonder if he got him pinned back. But I couldn't
something.
find that on the
He
internet.
grew into his ears.
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing?
He definitely is super handsome.
You know who
He
else
matured well.
is super handsome? Karen Parsons.
Yeah.
Miss Walburn. I had the biggest crush on her in the world.
I think everybody did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm not being dishonest to say now she's still smoking hot. And I don't think I've said that about anybody in all 50 something episodes of the show, but
Well, definitely not about me.
no.
I mean, I've been over here.
Here's the
wondering.
thing. And I don't know what she is like today. I didn't like Google or anything like that. But I was surprised now going back to it so much longer because I haven't seen this movie in a while. how taken I still was. I was like,
Struck a chord for you?
oh my gosh, what is happening
She's also
inside
a
my
sight for
brain?
sore eyes, like in the movie. It's
Yes,
otherwise
it's
just
literally-
a whole lot of
Yes,
It's a whole lot of dudes.
yeah.
that might
Yeah.
be why too.
Yeah.
Right.
But she's like classically beautiful.
She is.
She just is.
She is. She's great.
She's got that timeless beauty going on, just like me.
The budget for this movie was $55 million, and I don't
What?
on what?
On what?
They shot the whole thing in a field.
That one grenade.
Like
It was that one grenade scene. It took the tree that came down.
what cost $55 million in this? Some of the movies we've talked about have had way more for far less.
Each writer got.
Each writer got $20 million.
Yeah.
And I don't think Damon was pulling in a huge payday yet. I mean, I'm sure he got a chunk.
Megaforce was $20 million.
That's what I'm saying. And they
Yeah.
were blowing up dune buggies and, shooting off firecrackers.
Let's just say if the war scenes took up $20 million, then that leaves what, $35 million left?
No, it left $15. Oh, you're talking about Megaforce?
No, I was
it's like
talking
after the
about-
war scenes, they had $15 left, and that's why the flying motorcycle is the way it is.
No, I was talking about Major Payne, but
Okay.
I'm glad we went back to that.
Yes. All right, so $55 million, and honestly, I don't know what they spent that on.
No.
But the box office was only $30 million. Oh. That's not going to get it done.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. So that surprised me because I feel like when I was a kid, everybody went and saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But apparently nobody went and
That
saw
is
it.
surprising.
Well, apparently it was just our high school.
It was just, it was
Antioch
big.
High School didn't do enough.
Antioch, Illinois went out and spent money on this.
Right.
I was not there. I was in Pittsburgh.
Damon Wayans got
That's why you didn't see it.
That's right.
Damon Wayans got the returns. He's looking at them the next on Monday morning after opening weekend. He's like, "Well, we did big in Illinois, right?
Huge
Yeah,
Illinois
huge
weekend.
in Illinois weekend." All right, it's currently sitting at 6.2 on IMDb, and which is 0.4 above the Air America line of demarcation, so it's on the good side. 31% on Rotten Tomatoes, so the critics didn't like it, but it's got a 68% audience score. So 1/3 of the critics liked it, and 2/3 of the audience did. So it's interesting, at least to people like movie nerds like me.
Like for me, I'm not excited to see it again.
Okay,
But again, I don't have that nostalgia for
Yeah.
it. So
so would you be in the 32% then, audience that would have not clicked that you like it on Rotten Tomatoes?
yes.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm just trying to figure out the math here. So
Then the math works.
the math works. There should have been at least mathematically one of us that didn't like it.
Yeah.
Maybe 1.5.
Which
Oh,
one
thank God it
of these
wasn't
is not like the others?
Awesome. All right. So you guys excited to dive in?
Let's do it.
Do it.
Let's do it. So the movie starts.
Head first or feet first?
You do
Butt.
you do however you want.
I'm doing head.
Nicole's doing butt.
She's going
Whoa.
breach.
You're
That's
going
a
she's going
cannonball
breach.
Cannonball move. Let's go breach.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so the movie starts with the most ridiculous opening scene I can remember in a while of Major Payne in South America. For the army is called in to fight. I don't remember the last time
Well,
there
he's
was
in
a
the
battle.
Marines, so yeah.
The Marines.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm already screwing it. We are the worst movie podcast ever, so it's okay.
Right.
But he goes in and they're fighting these. There's a drug cartel in South America or something.
Yeah.
They sent in the actual Marines to do this.
Apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's like I don't know.
No,
He's like sashaying across the battlefield.
yes.
Yeah, it didn't look threatening.
Not at all, right? And he
Sneaks up on everybody.
sneaks up on everybody.
He gets the one guy with the gun. And he and takes his gun away from him. Judo chops him in the throat.
So for the first few seconds, I thought the movie was going to be that he's not good, and you know how they make movies sometimes, as like a killer, right?
See,
Yeah.
this is why it's good.
I thought it was going to be that like he accidentally keeps being successful, and that was the movie premise.
Oh, like Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, who accidentally solves a case every episode.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so this is why it's good to have somebody who's never seen it, because if you don't know what it is, and the first 5 minutes, it's clear to you he's not a good soldier because he looks ridiculous.
Yeah.
But he's actually a hyper effective soldier.
Yep.
A highly trained killer.
Is so good at his job that there are no bad guys left by the time he's done.
yeah, he puts he
Killed
puts,
them all.
Killed them all.
Sorry, and we're gonna fire you from the military.
No, you're too good.
You're too good.
He puts the man in commando.
I thought he was in trouble in that meeting for doing something wrong.
Right.
No, he's just been so effective.
So effective.
All
no
the
one left to
killing is
fight.
done.
He's so effective. This is the one thing I don't
You've
understand
killed them all.
about the opening scene is he slides down this rope and gets a gun trained on this, I'm assuming the leader of the drug cartel.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's surrounded by 47 other dudes with AK-47s. And the way he gets out of it is he sticks his gun in this guy's booty hole. Okay. Right? And then the next shot is them all just surrendering and walking away.
They must really like that guy and be concerned about his body. They're like, oh, not the body.
They're like, what is it? Where is it? He's got it. They're passing it around to the people in the back. It's in his butt.
Like by the time it gets around, it's a whole new sentence.
Maybe we should surrender. I don't know.
What do you mean they took his big toe?
He made the cut?
But that is enough to get all of them to drop their guns. So
Well, he's going to clean it out quicker than one of them burritos with the guacamole sauce.
I'm sorry, we can't see this man take one in the anus. We are going to all surrender and throw down our guns right now. The entire operation, however many millions of dollars in drug money that's been invested or spent, it's not his butt.
No, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Well, he also says later on that he's the leader of all these men that
Yes.
he's, so I don't think he was alone technically, even though that's how they show it.
That's how they show it.
But I think there were others on his side, other Marines.
Yeah, but he goes back and like we said, he's fired for being too good at his job. He's literally killed all the bad guys. And the funniest thing I laughed at in the entire movie is when he's just alone in his apartment yelling at a cat.
Oh my God, when he hisses at the cat.
It's the cat.
Oh, the best part, James, you're wrong, is when he jump kicks a pillow.
And then he drop kicks the window.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying this, he's got his duffel bag. He's throwing his duffel bag in the air, karate kicking. He shoots his foot through the glass.
Yes.
It was, I didn't laugh that hard for the rest of the movie. I don't know why. It was ridiculous.
My main laugh was that jump kick of the pillow. Like when you asked, did I laugh? That might have been it.
That's what popped into your head?
Yeah.
Yeah, he sees a rat come in the...
I can't. He sees a rat. He ends up cooking it.
He's got
in
no
an
job.
apartment.
How's he going to eat?
It's been 2 weeks since I killed a man.
built a fire.
I'm hungry. What? I forgot about that whole part until I watched it again. And then it's like
I was just hungry.
They went real dark there real quick.
Yeah.
This other cat coming in like, what's up? I think I smell a rat cooking in here.
When he hisses at the cat, though, I can't. He's like turned feral.
Mm-hmm.
At least they're setting the tone right off the bat that this is going to be stupid.
Yeah. Over the top.
In a good way. In a good way. And so you know to adjust your expectations accordingly. So that's all good. But he's clearly not built for civilian life. I mean, he tries to be a cop, but he assaults an actor.
That's the best. Minor setback, sir.
But she'd be a great cop or the worst cop. I couldn't decide if it was something he'd be great or terrible at. Probably terrible.
Yeah.
Probably terrible.
That should be the sequel.
Him being a cop?
Yeah, he ends up leaving the ROTC program and goes into being a cop.
Now he's Captain Payne.
Yeah,
and I've been an actor for like crisis intervention training for police officers, so maybe that particular scene was triggering for me.
You've done that?
Yeah.
So what would you have done if somebody just started smacking around the other actors?
I wouldn't have just stood there. That's what I do know.
I like that they shake hands, introduce each other, and then he's like, "If you ever just starts slapping
beating the crap out of him, just backhanding him."
That's right. Hey, I appreciate it.
He goes Pimp Daddy Payne on him.
Oh God!
I just want actors when I'm directing that go for it, and he went for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want them to physically assault anybody.
Right.
Let me
That's the line.
Be clear.
Yeah.
Okay, but otherwise he was really invested, and it was a good performance.
He might have made a good cop.
He might have made a great cop. He probably would have been fired within a year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 6 months.
6 months. The guy's mentally unstable. He's probably dealing with undiagnosed post-traumatic stress. Mm-hmm. Let's put him in charge of a bunch of kids.
Uh-huh.
PTSD, baby.
Right? That's what we should do. That's what we should do. You know that guy we fired for killing everybody?
Yeah, he was too good at killing everybody. Why don't we give him the
You're not fired
junior
for
department?
killing.
You know what? Well, let's give him this little ragtag group of misfits that have
bad news
behavioral
bears.
issues.
The Bad News Bears of junior ROTC
Right.
things.
From school.
He should not be around children.
He should not be around children.
Like, He was going to break that kid's finger within 2 minutes of getting to the base.
He didn't even know that he was on his group. Like it was to him, it was a random kid in a random place.
That's what I'm saying.
Got a little trick to take your mind off the pain.
You afraid of needles, boy? Yeah.
If Mrs. Wahlberg had Miss Wahlberg, sorry, she doesn't have a husband. If
She wanted kids and he did it.
Is that
I'm sorry,
wishful
Nicole.
thinking
It's
from your
wishful
old
thinking.
days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She probably has one by now. Maybe not.
Yeah.
If Miss Washburn hadn't walked up, that kid was getting his finger snapped.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whole different movie.
Which was also the prefix to the start of the movie, which they show him doing that to a guy that's laying there having his hip blown out.
Oh, when he's in South America,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
His leg is
It was
gone. or something.
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, because they do it, and he's like, my finger.
I thought that was pretty well done. I wonder if that dude just had like a dislocated finger that he could do
I
that
thought
with.
the same thing, like on the back end of it, like, okay, how did they get that?
Yeah, because
was
it
a
didn't
fake
look-
finger? Was it a fake finger?
It didn't look fake at all.
Yeah.
That taken out in a paper, looking for actor with missing ring finger.
That can just move it sideways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we got somebody? Sweet. Let's do it.
You got somebody with a janky hand.
You're
You
hired.
need that. Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh my gosh. All right. So after he has a conversation with an Alzheimer's patient, let me say that again. So after he has a conversation with an Alzheimer's patient, he meets the kids.
Are you talking about Dr. Finkelstein?
The Green Boys.
Dr. Finkelstein.
Yeah. Nightmare Before Christmas, my man.
That's the same guy?
Yeah, that's the guy that creates Sally.
I thought that was, the only thing I knew him from was Christmas
Oh.
Vacation.
Yeah.
The guy with the toupee.
Yeah. Yeah. Uncle Lewis.
Yeah.
Uncle Lewis.
Yeah. No, that's Dr. Finkelstein from Nightmare Before
I'm
Christmas.
Your
amazed.
mind is amazing.
Thank you.
I'm amazed he was lucid enough at that point to make that movie.
Yeah.
Because he seemed like he's been out of his mind like since the 80s.
I think that's the character that he plays, though.
He only gets to play characters
only
that are
gets
losing
to
their
play-
mind.
Yeah. I love him in this movie.
He gets to only play old senile men.
Wait, you love him in this movie?
I do.
He's in this movie for 4 seconds.
I know.
4 seconds of
and
love.
He's great.
And every line is like, what?
He's out there catching butterflies. Yeah, it was great.
What do we got an ROTC program?
Yeah.
What are you
The
doing?
Green Boys.
That's right.
Yeah.
What are you doing here?
I just, every time he, as soon as I heard his voice, all I hear is, Sally, can you get me some nightshade? Yeah, I just, every time, makes me laugh.
It definitely makes sense, though, that they had to have the leader of the school be like an Alzheimer's
absolutely.
patient.
Yes.
Because he literally blew up a tree at one point. Like
He did.
A non-senile person would
did.
be like, oh, you're fired.
Also shoots a gun directly above his own head a lot. Although he knows
Shoots a
guns.
gun.
He does.
Shoots a gun in the school into a closet 3 times.
3 times.
I have something to say about that. Are we there yet?
Not yet.
We're not there
Not
yet.
close. But that's
it's
another
coming
tease.
up. Don't
Ooh, my
go
gosh.
anywhere.
They're gonna have so many teases in their tease bag. They're not gonna be able to carry it.
Just big old teases.
They're listening.
I don't like how that sounded.
Did you
I
just
don't think it sounded bad.
Is there a place to buy tease bags? I don't.
Chamomile.
No, you have to bring your own, and then Nicole will fill it up. So,
This is the weirdest.
what was I gonna say?
Nobody knows.
All right, so the kids. He goes to meet the kids, the Green Boys. Okay. While Kurt recovers, I want to ask you, ladies, what you thought of the kids. Like out of all the kids, who was your favorite kid out of the group of kids? Not the 37-year-old guy that's about to fall down the hill, like the 37-year-old kid,
Alex. Yeah.
who had like a receding hairline and probably like 3 jobs.
Yeah.
But the actual children.
Tiger.
Tiger? Little Wayne?
Yeah.
Do you know that was his nephew?
No.
That was Damon Wayans' nephew.
Well, also the another one of the guys is another
Wayne.
yes.
There was 2 Wayans?
D.
Yeah, there's D.
Yeah.
D yeah.
Who?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the guy that does the rap.
Yeah.
The one
dancer.
who's dancing.
Yeah.
I didn't see. I
The
don't
one
know.
that
Yeah.
he goes up to and he's like, you like watching a black man
Yeah.
run a white
Oh,
boy?
no,
Yeah.
I know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
that's Shane looked it up. Like Shane did more research than I did.
So it's Big Wayne and then we got Little
Gotta
Wayne.
Yeah.
outsource this stuff.
That was I'm a busy woman.
Yeah. You know, they don't have 6-year-olds, FYI, in the junior Razzie program. It's like 12 years old and up. So why is there the 6-year-old
because they had an audition for the school that you could do, if you could do a Michael Jackson impression.
Yeah, they needed
You got in.
Everybody did a Michael
They
Jackson
needed
impression.
it for the plot, so that he could save the day at the
Right.
end.
So they've got just to be clear, they've got a 6-year-old in this group and a 37-year-old in this
Wait,
group.
are you telling me that the person that played Alex was 37 years old at the time?
I'd say he looked like he was.
Oh yeah, he definitely looked older. I had a huge old crush on him.
Really?
It was the blue eyes that killed me.
He had
Yeah.
the blue eyes. And
Yeah.
I'm being a little bit jokey because, but he looked like maybe he was 27. I mean, he definitely didn't
Yeah.
look as young as the other kids.
Whole
I
different
was-
man though with his head shaved. Looked
Yes.
like a whole different
Yeah,
guy.
whole different dude.
Yes. He was actually 20 years old when he shot this, which I'm like, bro, if you look like that when you're 20,
Yeah, he didn't.
What do you
age
look
well.
like now, bro?
I looked him up. He
Okay.
didn't. He didn't age.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a person. He's probably very nice.
Yes.
Wasn't what I expected.
okay. Here's what. Oh, well, now that you've recovered, Kurt, who was your favorite kid?
I liked Ass Eyes. He made me laugh. Plus, he makes the laxative cupcake.
Oh God, that's my favorite.
Just
Oh,
wish
you're
he
talking
had a
about
different name.
You're talking about James Cagney kid.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because-
is that his name?
Here's the thing. My problem with the children is they didn't spend time. Usually, when you only got 7, 8 kids in a movie,
Yeah.
you spend at least a little time
Yep.
building
On
up each
each
character. By the end, 4 of the 8 I still knew nothing about.
No.
Oh yeah, absolutely. They were just side characters.
Same thing. There's a point where they move into the barracks, and he says, Tiger and I literally. I've watched it 3 times in the last 2 days.
Yeah.
I have no idea what the kid's name is. You guys both are in there, and I'm like, wait, there's another little kid.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
there is. He's got glasses, and they're all bald.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why did my brain? I still don't have any
No,
idea what he
yeah,
looks
who
like.
that is, yeah,
He's
which
such a
one,
background
which.
character.
Well, this is what happens when you have 7 people write scripts. Things fall through the cracks like this because no one's paying attention to the minutia. But here's what I do. I guess now is as good a time to bring it up as any, and this might be controversial in the room because there's a couple of mega fans in here. I'm sorry, but Major Payne's voice is so annoying.
It's supposed to be.
It's
supposed
so annoying. I know, but when I've got to watch an entire movie of this dude and he's like, and business is good. I'm like, you're like a step away from Cartman is like where he
Yeah.
he
Yeah. Oh,
lived
yeah.
with
Sure.
this. I hated it. How did you feel about his voice?
I hated it. I knew this movie's important people. I'm like, stay with it. But I was like, come on. He again, commitment to character. And
Yeah,
I can
and-
respect
and
that.
he had
he's
plenty of
known
funny
for,
parts.
Homie the Clown and staying with whatever his lane is on that.
I just
particular
wish
scene.
he could have tweaked it a little bit so it wasn't so grating.
Yeah.
It was definitely grating, it was. I appreciate the commitment to it because
Yeah.
it still to this day resonates with me. Where I will do the worst impression ever of that voice, and I still laugh. I'm like,
Yes.
So there's
It's
a
so funny.
longevity factor that's
Yeah.
worth
For
for the
some
long
reason
term,
it
but for
stuck around.
short time,
Yes.
while you're watching it for the first time
In forever.
and you're not 11 years old, it wasn't my favorite. It wasn't drawing me in.
No.
I don't know. I think what we have here is a failure to communicate.
Which is what Cool Hand Luke, right?
Yes. Top 5 worst voice of all time. If you think so, in that list,
In
you would have
movies?
in movies.
Or
who would you
just in
put in your
general.
list?
Bane from Batman.
Which one?
I was born
Oh, this one?
I was born in the dark. I was molded by. That would be
Appreciate every part of that impersonation. I appreciate every part.
Major Pain to me too. Little Nicky from Adam Sandler.
Yes. All right.
It makes me want to punch myself in the face.
Thank you.
I
It's
can't.
terrible.
It's the worst.
Christian Bale's Batman voice. You be a force for good. Okay, right?
5. Yes.
And then Fran Drescher, right? I was number 5. That's just her regular voice, I know.
That's
but
on
she's
every list of your
just on
number
every
five.
list
I
of
like
number
that all of the things you named were characters, and then the last one was Fran Dresser as a person.
As a human.
As a
It's just a
person.
human person. I'm
Yep.
convinced she puts it on. I'm convinced she puts it on.
I think she just over exaggerates.
Yeah, I think it's her shtick,
Yeah.
But you even said about Adam Sandler earlier, his
Yeah.
role. So it's the same kind of thing where, that movie, I don't really want to listen to that voice the
No.
whole time. So if that's your lane,
Yeah, he did it. And one time, Sandler loved to pick voices, and it worked sometimes. Like Waterboy, he's definitely doing a voice, but it's not grating. And so it doesn't, it's cool. But you just gotta pick something that's not gonna hit people's ear in a way that just makes them have to overcome it to enjoy the movie. Like you're creating a barrier they have to overcome.
so I don't know if this is a jump then, but it's that made you go, why did the love interest even look at him?
Yeah.
Look, you hear him
Well,
coming.
it was those sweet,
you
sweet
run
dance moves.
away.
Yeah.
He had a swishy foot move in the middle that was really good.
I would take out Fran Drescher and I would put Steve Guttenberg in there from The Boyfriend School.
Oh yeah,
with his
New Zealand.
stupid New Zealand
That was
accent.
terrible.
Hate that
Spirits for your spirits.
Every time I get on this microphone, I will say I hate that movie. Gosh, it was
He's
awful.
got a good Bible, though. A good
So basically, this is the scene where he comes out and he's doing his drill sergeant thing, which is why it made me think of The Voice, because it's the first time we hear it at length. And he's a jerk to all the kids, right?
Yeah.
And he keeps talking. I don't want to even try and do the voice. It's like, you think your tears will keep Charlie from stabbing you in the heart, right?
Yeah, your tiny little heart. Yeah.
He keeps talking about Charlie throughout the whole movie. This dude is not old enough to have been in
And
Vietnam.
Agent Orange.
And Agent
Makes
Orange.
my Agent Orange act up.
Right,
And I'm
so-
like, where was he? What war? What
No,
are you talking
what was he,
about? What war
6
were we
years
in?
old in Vietnam?
Yeah.
He was fighting in Vietnam.
I was also confused by that.
And isn't Agent Orange the actual poison?
Yes, it is the thing. And so,
You don't catch Agent Orange.
no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But he definitely was not old enough to fight in Vietnam. But they threw all these references to Vietnam in there.
And Charlie.
Yes. And so the first scene, he's, goes basically kid by kid and just undresses them verbally and or dresses them down, I guess would be the way to say that. Undresses them.
I don't think you can talk about undressing kids.
No, he doesn't. He does not undress any children.
Yep.
He dresses them down and. Oh, you're hooked into the Bluetooth.
That stinks. Sorry.
Now you can
I
replace
thought I
the
turned that all off.
dressing down part.
There's some He-Man there for you.
And he basically treats all these kids like garbage. We get to see a little bit of each one. And the first real interaction we see between him and Mrs. Walburn is her coming into his office and be like, hey, you got to have the obligatory scene where she's like, come on, man. Like, can you be a little bit nicer to these kids? This kid peed himself because you wouldn't let him use the bathroom. And it leads into one of the funniest lines to me in the entire movie where she says, when you try a little positive reinforcement, he's like, is that when you snap the neck of a POW after you torture him so he doesn't have to live the rest of his life with a colostomy bag?
She's like, sort of.
So specific.
So
That's the best comedy, right? Specificity. I love it.
I can't. That part does get me.
And it plays into the whole thing like, why is she even considering him?
Why
because
is she even considering it?
you have statements like that and she's like, kind of, yes. Like she just glosses over so much with him. So much. And immediately after that,
Apparently, he had an accident. Apparently, he pissed all over the front of his pants. Mr. Peabody.
but here's the thing, and I want to ask this because I've got two women in the room. Men are super easy, right? Super easy to control. Because right after this, literally in 1 second, she turns on the charm.
Oh, yeah.
And asks him, will you be my big helper? And he just immediately,
So it was like, okay.
huh? I'll be your big helper.
Yeah,
Right?
And then was that the part where and then she walks away and he's like, "Why do I feel like a jackass?"
That's what I'm saying.
Because he totally fell for it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
yeah.
Are men that easy to manipulate?
Yes. I'm kidding. Sort of. I don't know.
Have you ever done that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
tell Shane. Shane's not allowed to.
I'm not. All right. Well, Shane can't listen to this episode.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. It's a thing. You catch more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
Yeah.
You bat your eyes a little bit, right?
Yeah, like, I need help with this. I'm just a little girl. And then they're like, I'll help you. Like, okay, cool, man. Also do the dishes while you're at it.
Right, because I was sitting at home watching this movie and I was like, I will also be your big help.
So you start writing a letter to some.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, this worked through the screen of my television, let alone you're in the room. The guy was powerless to resist.
Yeah.
Powerless.
Yeah.
Every man has his weakness.
Every man does. All right, so another thing that doesn't make any sense. Right after this, Major Payne moves them all into their new joint barracks, even though they were already living together.
I think they had different rooms.
Did they?
He was like, get out of my room or whatever. And
Well,
then
some of them.
They
bunked
showed that
together,
big room where they were all kind of bunking together
there was
already.
four to a room. Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
They didn't
Okay.
give me floor plans.
And it didn't have the
I don't
great.
know.
You're right, Kurt.
They should just have a package, a folder they issue with every movie.
I'm sorry, you're drinking water.
Okay. So that
Now
we
your
understand
nasal
these
passages
things.
are clean.
Okay, so that makes more sense then.
Yeah, I think
did
it was
not
more
give me
like
a floor
dorms
plan.
of like 4 in each, and then
Okay.
they moved him into the big barracks.
But then even later, like Tiger's still living with him, it seems like.
A Tiger, and then the other
Little kid?
That seems like a
the
great
other
idea.
kid is still stayed inside because they were young.
Come on.
Why don't you think, what?
He's so nurturing and safe to have around small children.
It all
Whose
makes
finger is he
sense.
going to break to help them out?
See, I took that as that's where his office was. I didn't take that as
Oh, he
that
lived
was
there.
his house.
Oh, yeah.
I was under the assumption that was his office, and then it was in the schools. So then the kid's room was up above his office in the school. So I didn't actually see that as his house. But I guess
think it
it
was.
could still be barracks
Because that's
there.
the same building they went into and up those same stairs when they were, we'll get to it in a minute, but when they were sneaking in on him while he was asleep. So I think this was the first, also, little fun fact about Major Payne. It was the first live action Cabbage Patch Kids movie.
My little batch of Brussels sprouts.
Just seeing the light bulb go.
Live action. Cabbage Patch Kids. I can't. Well, like that scene alone. Like you look at the back end of like how they created that scene. I'm like,
Yeah.
that hole had to be really deep for all those kids
Oh,
to fit
yeah.
in it. Are they standing up or are they?
And they're
How
all-
long did it take to get him in there?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like who put all the mud there? I had so many questions.
Oh, and they're all different
after
heights.
the fact. They're all different heights.
Yeah.
You could have drowned a kid in that mud.
Easily.
I wonder how they did it, like the production of it. But
When he
Yeah,
was
I don't know.
talking to them, I was wondering if it was like a second team of other people because you just saw backs of shiny heads.
yeah.
Oh, it could have been a bunch of stuntmen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then they cut to shots of them still in it.
Yeah,
Deep. I don't
in the
know. It was
mud
kind
in
of
the
crazy.
front.
It was
As
kind
a
of crazy.
parent, I don't know what the waiver said, but that might have been something to read.
We're gonna bury your kid to the neck in mud.
That's right.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Is that all right? And then we're gonna water torture them.
We're gonna
and
waterboard
hose
them.
down.
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I saw an interview of him, of Damon Wayans, and he said for 2 weeks it was about 107 degrees and 98% humidity in Virginia. So I guess it wasn't like cold, at least.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's why they spent $55 million on the Cabbage
the
Patch
pit.
scene. That's
Yeah.
it.
Digging the pit.
That was $12
And
million.
making different heights for each kid.
Yeah. 'cause
Right.
you're- You know,
Yeah.
OSHA.
Here, you stand on some bricks. No, this is safe.
No, it's fine.
No. We tried it with dummies. It's fine.
So he keeps terrorizing the kids, and their first plan to get him out is, we'll call it Operation Laxative. Okay?
Yes.
Right? And they're terrible at this. Can we just say, I mean, have you guys ever pulled pranks on people?
Yeah.
There's certain, like, have you never?
Not really.
I'm not a pranky kind of person.
Okay, well,
He knew what was going on.
there
Come on.
are certain, like, baseline requirements. Like, don't be obvious. No, like, you don't all have to go together to replace the cupcake.
The one kid sitting
Yeah.
by the door with no
With
reason.
no reason to sit there. So basically, James Cagney kid, this is why I call him that, because it's like the one line he has in the whole movie. He's like, yeah, see, we're going to get this cupcake and cover it with laxative, see? Yeah.
gotcha.
Like, that's how he sounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that kid know how to do that? Like, I don't know.
He's the science nerd.
So
That's how I got
Oh, how does he?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought
Like,
the
how do you-
voice. You're talking about how does he know how to create a laxative
Yeah,
from
like
scratch?
How does he do James Cagney?
where did he get the laxative?
That's
Where
what
would he have ever seen a James Cagney movie? No. Right. He's able to manifest the
Yeah,
components.
he's like, no. I do this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make laxative
got
cupcakes.
it.
It'll work. He'll
Right.
be in the toilet for years. You know,
I've been slapping Dr. Phillips with laxatives for 2 years.
Yeah, see? I'm going to give him the cupcake.
yes.
And he never remembers. You can play every prank you want on Dr.
He's going to be
Phillips.
runaway on his getaway sticks.
Yeah.
All right, I have to do it. All right. We can keep
It's
going.
fun. It's fun. It's fun.
Had to.
All right, but they're terrible at being sneaky, right?
Terrible.
The old
They-
cupcake switcheroo.
They do the old, you got a phone call thing. And okay, that's like
Oh, that
typical.
old chestnut.
But then all 8 of them together carry one cupcake over to the table.
It shows unity.
Is
they're-
that what it is?
teamwork.
I mean, it builds the team, right?
And they're
just
so-
doing it together.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're all
That's true.
excited. They stopped fighting amongst themselves.
Common
Put
enemy.
the unit in unity.
And that's his strategy. I think at one point he says, if they all hate me, then they're
Then they're
unified,
teaming
right?
up
Like the
together.
common enemy
Yep.
thing. Yeah. And then, of course, they do swap out the cupcake. He comes back, he eats it, and it's the fastest acting laxative in the history of laxatives.
Well, maybe his body just operates on another level.
Clearly it does.
Right.
Yeah.
My cousin was like, "Yeah, if you've eaten MREs, like you probably can process anything. Like, it won't affect him. Like
That's why he's able to just hold his breath for a second and he's good to go.
Yeah.
Just power through it.
I still to this day, it is my favorite scene when that kid walks
When he
by.
knocks out Opie.
Seriously?
And he farts and the kid passes out. I turn into a little kid again, laughing so hard. Like farts are funny. That kid, whoo, it murders me
It's
every
the
time.
perfect
It's still
drop,
held
too.
up for me.
A little
That
twist
moment.
on the way down.
No, it's funny. It's not that it's funny. It's that they spent 7 minutes of the movie to set up a single fart joke.
Yeah.
That was my only, like, we're going to spend all this time. This is the payoff.
I don't
But
know. I loved it.
in and itself,
I think it
it's a
worked.
long
Were there
time.
other like kids in the mess hall?
Yeah.
Too?
Yeah, there's like 3 extras.
There's all these other kids.
Eating their own food. Without
Yeah. So, and they don't, I don't know if
Noticing.
they don't do a great job of setting it up or at least explaining it, but it's some kind of school of
Prep
some
school.
kind. It's a prep school.
Yeah.
These are all these other kids there, but these specific ones are part of this Razzie program. Do they do that where there's Razzie at specific schools like that? I mean, I don't know.
No clue. But one thing I didn't notice when I was in high school, as opposed to watching it now, is the other school. With what they're Madison.
Yeah,
and the
well,
other
they're
school?
Madison. That one's W.
When they like went out, we'll get into it later. It's only a mile away. Why do they have 2 of these schools within a mile?
That's what I was
Yeah,
going to
2
ask
miles.
about that.
Yeah.
What?
Because they go they do this thing, Operation Trophy. Like, you want to get rid of me, go get the trophy from the
Yeah.
winning school. And they literally, in the cover of night, they go and sneak over there. And I'm asking them, like, where is this other
He
school?
says it's a mile away, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
He does say it?
Yeah.
Because I
It's-
missed,
yeah,
okay.
it's 2
Yeah.
miles away.
'Cause
He
I
goes,
missed
we
that
gotta
line.
Run 2 miles because he's like, we can get there. We can do this.
Oh,
And he
see.
ropes him into, let's.
I missed that line because to me, I'm
Roping
like,
up the
these
team.
kids don't have cars. How far away is the school?
Yeah.
Did it take them 6 hours to get there? Right.
Well, it depends on what you can run in a
a
mile.
2-mile radius, there are so many children who need to have a lot of discipline.
Right.
I knew a lot of kids in gym class that took an hour to run a mile. So
Why
maybe
have
a couple
them?
hours.
Why have them right next to each other like that? Doesn't
Yeah,
make any
it
sense.
doesn't make sense. But again, I
It's
feel
like
that
when you
fits
see
in
a
the 90s
McDonald's and a
movies.
Burger King all like in the same corner. It's
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
You know, kids that could run miles in 5 minutes. Is that what you said?
I used to do the mile in just under. I used to do mine just under 6.
Bull crap.
Shane Jr.
When? In high school?
Yeah, in junior high. Yeah,
In junior high?
junior high. Yeah, I was in track and field, baby.
How long? Wait,
I went to state.
4 minutes and what?
No, it wasn't 4 minutes.
5.
Under 6 minutes.
Under 6 minutes. Okay. In that case, I ran mine in 5.5 minutes.
Nice, nice.
Usain Kurt.
That explains the calves.
I don't know. I can't back that up. All right. So,
Let's do it.
all right. So that didn't work. And this is where it gets really weird. They're like, all right, the laxative didn't work. How do we ramp this up? Like, why don't we ramp it all the way up to Operation Pedophilia?
Yeah, let's put Heathcliff in a dress. It's the only obvious answer.
How
Yeah.
was this the next plan?
Well, 2 dresses because he changes because the other
this
one's
is
prettier.
prettier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sat around, they put their heads together, and somebody goes, I know how we're going to get him. This is like almost like 2022 levels of canceling right here, right? It's like back in 1995, like, we're going to get him in bed with a child.
Wearing a dress.
Wearing a dress. This is just for the people at home that haven't seen it. The children are going to sneak one of their own into his bed in a dress to take illicit photographs of him spooning him or whatever.
All right, but as an adult, absolutely, totally horrible. But as a kid, they probably think that's the way that it's going to work.
Why?
Like, the kids are going, this is a great idea.
Yeah,
From a kid point of view, they probably don't even think about that. They're like, how else can I get a parent in trouble? This is a fantastic way.
Well, Michael Jackson him.
Yeah, we'll just
Second reference in
set
the
it up. Yeah.
film.
There was a lot of
they-
Michael Jackson references in this movie.
Yeah. Well, they said when he's like, we got to get him, something so heinous that they have to get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like when you're a kid, like,
Well,
that's
especially
really,
with
that's
that
the most
guy
heinous they can think of.
Especially
true.
a guy that's running the place. They probably know old man Finkelstein isn't gonna
Dr. Phillips.
Yeah, isn't going to, get rid of him.
It's the old man Finkelstein.
Sorry, because that was the name of the doctor from Nightmare Before Christmas.
What if he had just looked like the doctor from Nightmare Before
That
Christmas?
would have been great. He just opens up
action.
his brain,
That's what I'm saying.
scratches it.
So this
puts
movie
it
not
back there.
once but twice uses the hilarious concept that cross-dressing is obviously the funniest thing.
The funniest thing we could do, because right after this, when it doesn't go well, because they sneak into his room and he wakes up and
Hello, Betty. Yeah.
and they just run off. I'm like, yo, snap your pictures.
He
It's like,
did. He comes back and he takes the picture.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's
he
right.
does it
And
real
it was
quick.
like, you think at this point it's even worth it. You're
Right.
Yeah.
It's not. But then he's
and they
got
didn't
them
have
all.
digital, so the film would have taken a while to get back to.
Right. And the guy at Walgreens would have been like, what the frick? What is this?
Wait, what?
CPS. There's like 19 different times CPS could have been called in this film.
Well, and then, after this is where he has them all dress up in dresses to punish
Yeah.
them and
Yes.
runs the schoolyard.
Yeah. Well, and I think like going back to the 90s, like when you're a teenager, I think the 90s teenager would be like, oh, dude dressing up as chick is hilarious.
Yes.
Like different times and we know better, we do better.
Sure.
But like, I think that's like, your punishment now. You think it's funny to dress up like a chick. Now you're
Yep.
going to dress up like a chick.
Like, no, listen, the adult didn't listen. And then later there's like a lesson.
Right.
So I was like, oh, they're going to have a lesson. Then my eyes got real wide. Like, that's not the lesson. Oh, no.
Yes. And she gets angry at him. Okay. And she calls him a lot of names. And Major Payne affirms that he is insecure, overbearing, psychopathic, dictatorial, egomaniacal, lunatic, and an a-hole. But he is not frigid.
I ain't frigid.
Okay. He apparently affirms all of those other things. Great qualities in a guardian, but he's not frigid.
Delivering that line probably was difficult for her. There's a lot of words
That was a lot
in
of
a
words.
row.
It was. And she was doing good. I thought she did a great job.
I do love when Tiger goes to hug him, though, and he gets him in a phone.
What's your angle, boy?
Yeah.
You plotting on me? I could break your neck in 20 places.
I can snap your neck in 20 different flavors.
Grape, bubblegum, spinach.
Spinach was number 3.
Yeah. I went rogue.
Okay.
Rogue.
All right. So the last gasp that these boys have to get rid of Major Payne is Operation Physical Assault. They hired this guy. How do they hire this guy first? I have so many questions.
Well, he's 34, so we can go to bars.
Alex just went to the bar at
just
lunchtime.
found this biker guy. Did he hire this guy that's just some random biker, or that was played by Bam Bam Bigelow from the WWF, or did he hire Bam Bam Bigelow from the WWF?
Oh, you think Bam Bam Bigelow was playing himself?
Like from Vince McMahon. Like he got Vince McMahon on the horn.
I was like, hey,
And he's like, what are the
I'm an
chances?
80s kid. I love WWF.
What are
How
the
fast
chances?
did you get to Randomsville, Virginia?
We're setting
On a
up
hog.
a ring right down the road.
Right, maybe maybe the WWF was in town.
Yeah.
If the Carnival was in town, maybe it was a lot easier than that. Because here's the thing. Bam Bam Bigelow delivers one of the worst acting performances
When he's
in
choking.
any movie. And just when he's speaking, I heard that you're giving these kids a problem. Or
Yeah.
like he's like Ricky Bobby, he doesn't know what to do with his hands. And he's like when he's not doing it, he's doing this, but like way too high up.
So you can see on your picture.
I heard you're going to be leaving here.
That's right. And like this is where his belt is, but it's
He's-
like just under his chest.
Yeah, he's really intimidating.
Not really.
No, he is.
He's kind of like
scared me.
He's like a cartoon character.
When you
of
get a man who
Yes.
tattoos his bald head,
Yeah.
you got to think there's a couple
It was
screws up there.
interesting, at least, that it was like looking at the intersection of two kinds of 90s American male strength stereotypes, if
Yes.
you will.
Yes.
And how they met each other. Actually, I found that interesting.
Did you?
I did.
Okay.
I'm not saying the writers were like, let's make a commentary,
Yeah.
but I just found myself thinking about it is all.
I like that it ends with Bam Bam being like, you said you were going to kick me in the face. Like he's all offended that he
Right.
lied to him.
For calling me a liar.
Yeah.
And he kicks him right in the grill. And this is what you're not always going to get great acting. Some wrestlers can act like The Rock. Okay, so The Rock can act. I tried to think of some other.
Does pretty good sometimes.
He's
doing all
doing
right,
better.
yeah.
He's getting better. But the one thing they can do is sell the crap out of getting beat up.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing you hire them for.
Sure.
And he sells every one of those hits like a professional,
Absolutely.
like he is.
Yeah.
And so that looked like the best kick in the entire movie when he kicked that dude in the face and he went flying backwards.
One of my favorite lines from the movie. Fee, fi, fo, fum. What beanstalk you fall from?
Oh, so good.
Well, but right after this, so he comes back. Obviously, he beats the crap out of Bam Bam Bigelow because he's a hyper effective killing machine.
That's right.
And he goes back and instead of, I think Stone thought he was going to get kicked out, but he promotes him to squad leader, right? He gets a promotion instead of getting expelled. But before that, he makes them all do push-ups. And he's like, you want to see Ryman? 1,
Yeah.
ain't this fun?
Yeah.
2, look at you. 3, don't ever do that to me or I'll stomp your head into the ground or whatever. I don't remember what the line is.
It's off rhyme.
It's just not a rhyme.
Well, he
at
does
all.
the pause right at me and then goes right into the,
Oh my gosh. All right, so sorry, I got to catch my breath and figure out where I am on this page. All right, so all that being said, the last half of the first hour. So the first half hour was all the setup. The last half hour of like Operation Laxative, Operation Pedophilia, the Boogeyman in the Closet, all this stuff. Like at this point, it's just them doing bits basically instead of like moving the plot forward. Like the boys aren't really getting any better. They're not really training for the games. There's not any kind of forward momentum plot wise. It's like, let's just keep doing these scenes where we just do different funny things. And that's great. And that's fine. But it's starting to fizzle out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so they finally, at this point, after about an hour in, get to the point of making it about the military
kids.
games
Right.
and the kids, right? This is where we do Operation Trophy. He's like, all right, you want me, excuse me. He's like, all right, you want me gone. You've got to go to this other school and get the trophy and bring it back. And this is what causes them to, what I thought was travel 60 miles on foot, but apparently it was 2 miles on foot. And they go all that way just to get their asses kicked because Major Payne called the other school and warned them to teach the kids a lesson. Right?
Sure.
And this is what kind of spurs them, at least initially, towards their goal when he lays his eyes on the trophy, right? Meanwhile, Major Payne is back at his house telling Tiger, the little engine that could, but like the Charles Manson version
Yeah.
of that story, right? You're just over here shaking your head. As a parent, do you not think that was a good idea?
No, but in general, like duh. But when Miss what's her butt was watching like some of these things, and she just was like, okay, keep going. Let's see how this plays out.
She was standing in the doorway, like while the story has already taken a turn and is not getting better.
No.
And she's standing in the doorway, and I was like, "You're not going to tell him to stop talking
No.
about the things blowing up
could-
and stuff."
You're probably not trained. Oh, you are. Okay.
Not only did she not stop him, a minute afterwards, she accepts a date from him.
Well, she asked him, but yeah.
Right? Oh, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, 'cause
she invites him on a date.
She goes, let's talk about this. Like to say like,
maybe over dinner.
I like that you're trying, but
And I can see they could have set it up so many ways where she found like something a little bit attractive. Not that.
No, not that.
So many
Not
ways.
right after he was talking about Charlie popping the eyeballs at the conductor's head.
Yeah.
And snot and dripping ass and all that stuff coming out. Right?
yeah,
All that stuff.
Yeah.
It was
No,
a great
I
scene.
think I audibly went like, what?
You see her standing in the doorway and you're like, do something.
Yeah.
Responsible adult, come in and do something, please.
So that's, again, she's the actor. She did what she was supposed to do, but I
Yes.
was like, I feel like I would have at least, like my eyebrow would have gone up more. So I don't know. I don't know.
The best part of the whole story to me was the scream at the end of it. When he tells this whole story and then he just, I don't want to do it on the microphone, but he just screams at the top of his lungs. That was one of the times I laughed out loud.
Yeah, and then he jumps and was like, "What the hell was that?"
He's committed. The commitment is there. Like, I mean, he told the crap out of that story just from an acting standpoint. He was fully committed, invested. I loved it. All right, so she's horrified, but she wants to go on a date with him. So sure, great idea. I do want to say, we should talk about the date. There's so many things to talk about in this date when they go out. The first thing, though, when he eats and fast forward, right? Anybody who's ever, it's a real thing. Okay, my father-in-law, I used to go out to dinner with him sometimes, and he was 20 years in the Navy, and he would be done in 30 seconds. Like,
you gotta eat.
No joke.
Eat as fast as possible.
Yeah.
It's a military thing.
And he'd been out of the military for 20 years at that point, right? He's like far removed from his service, and he still would just inhale his food. And he would say, I was like, Mike, why do you eat so much? He's like, because they would give us like no time at all to eat, and you just got used to just eating.
In the movie, when the kids were all eating fast with him, I was so impressed with those little children who were just trying, like, keep up, don't choke, keep up, spit it out, put it back in, spit it out, put it back in. It was only like 3 seconds of the film, but I was like, you go, buddies. You're doing it.
Which is also a great reference because he says, I'll be all over you like white on rice on a paper plate
With
on
milk.
milk in a snowstorm, and that's exactly what they were eating.
Was it?
Yes. It was white rice on a
Paper
white plate. It wasn't paper, but it was white plate. They all had glasses of milk. And obviously there was no snowstorm, but
I
it's
never
really
caught
funny to
that.
see them eating the rice on the
Man,
plate.
you got into the weeds on this.
I
love
love
it.
this movie, man.
I love
I've watched it religiously.
I never caught that, and I never caught the fast eating was a military thing. Like, I just thought it was like a shtick.
Let's just do a funny bit.
Oh yeah, let's make it. You know, what'd be really funny. Let's just make him eat real fast. just putting jokes in where they could.
Yes.
But that makes sense. The military thing
For sure. And then they start dancing. And here's the first thing I love Mrs. Wahlberg. Okay, I love her.
What?
Miss. That's right. She ain't got no husband. Miss Wahlberg.
She wanted to have kids.
All right, Miss Wahlberg.
You want to give her a bullet from your
All right.
heart?
And when Wahlberg, excuse me, when Miss Wahlberg shuts down the robot, I was so upset. I was like, no, you're not wrong. She's wrong. He was killing the robot. And it's never gone out of style. If I could do it that well, I would do it every day on every dance floor that I could ever find myself on.
I 100% agree. You never stop. You never stop a good robot.
No, it was perfect.
No,
and
it'll live on forever.
If that's such a red flag, talk about his red flags. Okay, out of here. Like you try to shut down. Oh, don't think they're like, I'd be like, shut up. I'm dancing.
I'm literally bodily expressing my feelings on a dance floor.
And they were sweet moves.
They were. Don't ever try and shut somebody down doing the robot.
Yeah. I do like the little shuffle movie.
At least a good robot.
But the foot shuffle was just
The foot shuffle definitely got me.
You had to dig a little deeper into here. Repertoire.
Well, now that is part of my lexicon. I will say that constantly. Excuse me, reach down into my repertoire.
All right, but then we get
the song lyrics were hilariously off color when the people behind in like really like white color outfits.
That's what I had written down. So they start dancing to Pop That Coochie, which is a 2 Live Crew song, which Damon Wayans was beefing with at the time, which is why they put that in the movie, because they had been talking smack back and forth to each other.
Wait a minute, they were talking smack, so he's like, screw you, I'm going to use your music.
You're going to get so much money out of this.
Right. So this is what I read. I don't know.
$55 million
I wasn't like knee deep in 2 Live Crew drama back in the 90s. This is what I read. Okay. So the internet said it, take it with a grain of salt. But they're dancing to Pop That Coochie, and they found the lamest, whitest couple in America and put them right in the front of the shot. I mean, they must have put like an APB out or something. You know what I mean? Like, go search the fish fries in the supper clubs and find these people and bring them in here. Because after he dances by, there's these
rooms of accounting firms.
Back rooms of accounting. Insurance seminars. They like went out to all the places. And they got the whitest, lamest couple dancing to Pop That Coochie. And I almost died. Okay.
Well, I'm glad you found the movie funny.
It was funny.
You had a moment.
So that was
no coochies were popped on that dance floor.
No, none.
What's that?
I don't want to hear that again. There were.
I'm just using the song lyrics.
I know. It was expertly done as well. Earlier today, you asked, did you laugh? And that was one of my laughs. I didn't have a ton, to be honest, but like that's why. It wasn't even supposed to be.
After Damon Wayans left the screen is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
And you saw them. So did
It's
I.
true.
So we did it together.
I missed it.
Now you get to see it, and I have a
gonna
reason
watch
to
it
go back
again,
and
yeah.
watch it and
You'll
watch
see
these
it.
two. Oh my gosh. Maybe afterwards I'll pull it up
Definitely
my phone and
some
show
great
it to you.
white
They were even
people
wearing
dancing.
like khaki and white.
Oh God, I love
clothing.
white
They
people.
were.
dancing.
She had like a floral dress
Yeah, it's just really
On.
like breezy.
and they were just doing this.
I'm really glad that you have this on YouTube right now because that was a good one. That was perfect.
It's like the Brady
Dude,
Bunch
like, dude,
thumb
it's just
dance.
The expression on your face is exactly correct.
It's so good. Did you practice that?
No, I didn't practice it.
You don't have to when you're white. It's part
have
of
to.
the part of the privilege.
It's
one
in
of the
my-
three
it's in
dance
my
moves that they
it's in my
issue you.
DNA.
Right, standard.
It's in my DNA.
a white standard, right?
Yeah, it's one of the three dance moves they issued to you when you become a white person.
It's imprinted on your card.
So they go back to the school. Here's how he closed the deal. And I think, whenever we can, Bad Movies Rule tries to be educational. So power dating move, okay? Give the woman a foreign object that's been removed from your body. Works every time.
It was
Every time.
weirdly sweet though. Like, it was actually like kind of. I liked it. I thought it was funny
Oh,
and
okay.
interesting. I mean, not like wow, that was warm and sweet. But then she was like, okay, that was. It was just didn't line up with because it's like really deep from him, right? It was out of character.
She no-sold it for sure. She just totally, I think she blew the reaction shot there.
Yeah.
Unless that's what she was told to do. I don't know.
I
Right.
like that he's like, no, it's from my heart. Like
Like literally
left ventricle.
gives her a bullet
I cut
that
it out
had been
myself.
inside
I cut
his
it out
heart.
myself with a field
and I
knife.
didn't bleed out.
on the left ventricle. Like, it's
Wait, he
just
cut it out
extreme
himself. So
joke.
he performed heart surgery on himself.
Sure did.
Sure did. Well, and it's like,
That's hardcore.
it's just good.
But no, she doesn't love
what,
that.
they've
She
known-
loves that he yells at children with like eye gouging stories. That's the
known
part.
each other.
In the beginning of the movie, he's like, "You want to wrestle?" I mean,
Within 1 minute of meeting her.
Yeah,
I
'cause of her
You got a
handshake.
mighty handshake. Yeah.
And that's where you knew she was going to be okay with it, because even that, she was like, no, that's okay. Like, she glossed over everything. And that was like, the first time she
how I
did
met my wife.
it. So have you ever just given a girl a foreign object pulled from your body?
No,
Okay.
no, I haven't.
I wish people could have seen your face. It makes that answer so much better. All right. It's an audio medium, though. What are we going to do? All right, people. So it's Parrot Day. And Michael Ironside stumbles in for one scene. He plays Alex's father. And even though he's like stepfather. Even though he's like second build in the movie, he's here for like 2 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's like, just, your typical drunk dad, stereotypical scene where you can almost write it out beat for beat what's going to happen. He's going to, you're going to salute your old man? What are you, tough guy now? I'm still better than you. Major Payne comes over. I mean, the whole thing was just one giant movie trope, okay? In fact, there's a lot of tropey things that start to happen towards the end of this movie. But this is the thing that spurs Alex on to say, okay, I want that trophy. I don't want to steal it. I want to earn it.
Right.
Right?
Well, I think it shows the respect between that they've been trying to drive home is the respect between Alex and Major Payne.
Right.
So it finally pays off to where Major Payne kind of wins the battle.
Yeah.
And now Alex is like, I like you, but I can't do this without you. I want to do the trophy.
Yeah.
Shows that respect has to be earned, not
right.
demanded.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so how are they going to do it? How are they going to get ready in such a short amount of time?
Suddenly do so much cardio that they're as fast as everybody else who's been doing that much cardio for years.
In a montage. A sports training montage.
A mother
Right.
effing montage.
There were no raw eggs, and I was disappointed.
Oh, good call.
I was not.
This is another giant. Why use many scenes to develop character when one scene will do? We'll just do it all in a montage.
I love a good montage.
Oh, yeah, who
It's
doesn't?
Like you get a ragtag group of kids in a montage and a overcoming.
That's
and
right.
I'm in.
Nobody loves
it.
more montages than me. I've had a zillion of them in my movie.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nothing's ever gonna keep you down.
That's awesome. I don't even know what song
We're
you're
putting
singing.
out that
What?
album.
Karate Kid, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
Karate Kid.
Never seen it.
Oh, shut up.
I know.
That's
Don't.
not
He does
even
this all the
possible.
time. All the time. I believe him. He's never seen it.
I've never
There's all
seen it.
kinds of stuff he's never seen. You wouldn't believe.
Never seen Karate Kid.
Nope.
You do a movie podcast and you haven't seen Karate Kid?
He's never seen Jaws.
Yeah, I've never seen Jaws either.
I have to go.
I didn't.
No, stay.
Everything about this makes me angry.
I didn't see E.T. until 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And did you phone home about it?
I did. And my mom was like, "Oh, that's weird."
It's not
I
weird
didn't
to
realize.
me. It's not weird to me that you haven't seen movies. My sister hasn't seen any movies ever.
Yeah.
It's weird to me that you're in a podcast about movies and there's like some pretty big staples out there.
I know.
I do know someone who's taking a stand about Star Wars, and he never will watch one just because he already started that trend.
Because
He's
it's
like,
the only interesting thing about him, and he doesn't want to lose it.
Yeah. It's his
Is that
one
what
thing
it is? It's his one
that he
thing.
can say like, well, I've never seen Star Wars.
So if he does that, then he's nothing.
Then he's just a regular person now.
I obviously know society is, drilled at home. So I know Mr. Miyagi. I get the whole like wax on, wax off. I've seen video. I've never actually seen the movie from start to finish to be able to go like, I've seen the movie.
Are you not watching Cobra Kai?
No, I don't care because I never saw
the
the
best
first
quotes
movie.
of like, hash brown it and send it to the internet.
That's right.
I love it.
I love Cobra Kai. But I was obsessed with Karate Kid, though. That's
I don't
why I
love the
love it.
whole show, but
Yeah.
I do enjoy hash browning it.
So there is this one moment you mentioned it was kind of a sweet moment with the bullet. There was also this kind of a sweet whistle moment thing, right?
No.
Because we glazed over that where she
Yes.
went to, when they were kids were dressed in the dresses, she went to take his whistle.
And he's like,
he's
no.
like, do not touch my whistle.
But I
Right.
didn't know what she was doing, so I wrote, when she blows on the whistle, it is both confusing and gross, but I can tell they want it to be cute.
Yeah, because it's supposed to call back to an
Because
earlier
he's like,
scene.
don't touch my whistle.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's, and then he hands it to her.
So now
It
he
was
like
cute.
hands it to her. I
Yeah.
thought it was cute, but it's really the last like important thing that happens between the two of them in the movie, because right after this they go into the actual. Well, first a plot contrivance the general pulls up to the school to say, yeah, right before your thing, you got to go. That's a total movie trope, right? Where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, at the last minute, guy has to leave, and all the people that he trained because they have to have that scene was like, you said we were family.
Yeah, and then like and then the guy's got to
Yeah.
realize like what's more important, killing.
That's what I'm saying.
Or bossing kids around.
This is where it
Which
kind
one
of
I like better.
this is where it becomes like paint by numbers at this point, like
Yeah.
the plot wise, which, it's fine. But he goes off. He's like, no, I got a chance to go do some killing. And he leaves. And the boys start the competition without him. The first few events, he's not there.
Yeah, Alex ropes them all in, gets them like motivated.
We're going.
We're doing this. We put in our time.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
For about 4 days.
yeah. We worked really hard for this 2.5 days.
we just did a whole montage together. We're going to throw that away.
And we haven't
You-
rested between that.
We're
but
not
that's fine.
wasting this montage.
That's right. Meanwhile, Major Payne has this whacked out daydream while he's waiting for the train.
Yes.
It was so good.
I love it.
He's grilling, and they're doing like the 80s, like,
Yes.
we are
Him and Miss Wahlburn.
a great family, and we have a son. And then all of a sudden, Charlie's in the corner.
With the most obvious rubber gun.
It's so terrible. The point it bends.
It's like wobbling back and forth.
He could have shot, but no, he got up super close, super slowly.
Yeah.
He couldn't have shot because it was rubber.
True.
The gun was made of rubber. He's like, what am I going to do? I'm going to beat them with this rubber gun? I'm going to have to get in close.
I got to tell you, though, my favorite part of this scene is Damon Wayans when he's Major Payne's reactions to the daydream.
Yes.
Because it's like he sees Charlie and he's like, in his eyes, it's like, watch out, he's over there. It's almost like he's watching himself
Across the street, yeah.
And he's like, oh no.
He's
And
gonna
then-
get you.
And then he gets him and he's like,
Yes.
yeah. And you can see in his face, like, yeah, you got him good.
And he smashes him,
face on the
On
grill.
the grill.
throws him into the pool, and Miss Wahlburn's like, oh, you know.
Now, what about the burgers? Come on.
Oh, they're going to taste a little bit different.
Facey.
That's right. They're going to taste a little facey.
You know what was amazing, though? After they had those burgers, 10 minutes later, they were hungry for more.
Boo.
Is that a
Thank
Chinese
you.
food joke?
Thank you.
300%
Yes.
boo.
All right, so the boys are competing. They're in this race, and Dotson, who we've gone through the entire movie without mentioning Dotson. Dotson might be number 6 on the worst voices of all time list. When that kid screams, he was like the squad leader before. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, when
You're talking about Brown Noser?
Yes.
Yeah. And when they're outside, it's raining. It was right before we didn't talk about the grenade.
No.
So they're trying, he's like, you got to get to a minute, 20 seconds. Alex is like, I can barely do it. And he was still on the thing.
Right.
And he's like, get over there. Oh my God, the best line is he's the deaf kid. He's like, Dad, what? Oh my God, what is her name?
The only woman.
She's a deaf actress.
Oh, Marley Matlin.
Marley Matlin. She's like, tell Marley Matlin's son over there if he doesn't climb up that rope, I'm gonna hang him with it. And the kid's like, yeah. And the kid keeps repeating what he's saying. And then finally looks over and he's like, stop.
Shut up.
Get up that rope, you idiot.
I thought you were trying to think of the name of.
Oh
No,
but he calls her.
Drops Marley Matlin's name.
It was just. I saw it the second time I saw it.
Like Sawyer in Lost, who only calls people by other names of.
And so Dotson, when he lost the squad leader gig to Alex, defected to another school, and now they're running in this race. And Dotson trips Alex, and so he finishes first. And Alex finishes second. So their two schools are 1 and 2. But it starts as melee. Like Alex starts a giant fight, and everyone's just beating the crap out of each other.
The most realistic punch reaction I've ever seen.
Yes.
It's just swirly eyes and a
like I was waiting for like stars to rotate around his head.
Tweet, tweet.
like Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Yep. Tweety birds.
What is he saying?
What am I going to do? I need stars. I paid you for stars.
One of the lines in my lexicon that I say all the time, like if I bump my head, every single time I say, ooh, look, stars. Ready when you are, Raul. Because it's a line from the movie when he finally got the stars.
I love it. We Toons may act idiotic, but we're not stupid. All right. Sorry, I love that movie. Where the heck was I? Oh, okay. So there's this big melee, and then they're standing in front of the officers, and they're like, you've got to throw this entire team out. This is ridiculous. Forget the fact that like your kids were fighting too. And he says, I can only kick out the offending player. Now they're person short for the drill, right? Yeah. And so Alex is getting booted, but he had already kind of sprained his ankle.
Right.
Yeah, he wasn't going to do it anyway.
Oh, man, we got them all.
Let me do that again. Hold on. Big time trope. The guy comes back at the last minute to...
These are my boys.
A trained monkey could have written the beats of the script at this point. These are my boys.
That was the eighth writer.
That was the eighth writer.
Trained monkey.
Was a trained monkey. But Alex got kicked out, but then apparently wins the Excellent Cadet Award because there's a trophy with his name on it.
Because he got second place. He got kicked, and he started a fight, and then at the very end, they're like, and for outstanding achievement. What?
Yes.
Unless one of the other kids made that in like the shop class.
It's possible.
Just to make him feel better.
It's possible.
Yeah.
But Major Payne shows up right as they're about to be disqualified, and they're going to let them do their drill, but they need Tiger to step in to do the drill.
I didn't. So I always knew that Tiger finished it out, right?
Yes.
But I didn't. I missed. Which I caught it just when I started to watch it again.
Yeah.
Is that Tiger when they were
running around?
Yes. Oh yeah.
When they were rehearsing, whatever. Tiger was standing next to Major Payne and like doing all the moves.
He was.
Because I was like, oh, Tiger just happens to know all of them. They didn't set that up at all. They did. I just had missed it the first time.
No, they
stares down at him and he's like,
Yeah, it's like Tiger knows all the moves.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say though, and I'm sorry in advance. I hated the drill at the end. I thought it was corny as hell.
Loved it as a high school student.
Yes, maybe.
Because they put a funky old song in there.
Hip hop, hip hop, hip hop.
But it just seemed it seemed super cringe.
It is.
When I watched it.
Now.
High school was awesome.
How are they that good at flipping rifles around?
Or rifles, either of them.
I have never done a good job with rifles. So there's a part when Tiger's supposed to say, order arms, but if you go back and listen to it, it's like he's going, hello, arse. And I was like, he's British. It's so cute.
Well,
Plot twist.
Hello.
I think they do a lot of voiceover for Tiger in that scene, and then the deaf kid, they have a voiceover for.
Oh, that's true. And I was so distracted by all the white people dancing in the background in their jorts. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the background, they're all just like.
And then all the colonels in the military are tapping their foot because they're digging this.
But it's like not even
this groove.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not even that much of a groove.
No.
Or a vibe at all. It's kind of. It's just. I don't know. What did you think?
Maybe it shows you how low the groove level is on a typical day. I don't know.
To them,
Maybe
they were like, "This is incredible."
Yeah, maybe that's like a Marine. Like their days are so bad. That was a banger.
And then the throwback to the Michael Jackson thing again with Tiger.
I know. Always. What did you think of the final drill?
I thought it was, ill-fitting, but I mean, endearing because Tiger was tearing it up.
Well, and I feel bad. That's why I said I'm sorry before I preface it by saying it was corny as hell, because like I didn't want to. I mean, the kid is like, I don't want to rip on a 6-year-old kid, but he sucked.
And I wanted to say, like, there are some kids who, we're putting up with some stuff.
I see where Bob gets it.
There's, the character that, he was calling all the mean things about, being, tubby, and the kid has to say, how far we are from the kitchen. He has to do that whole thing. So they put up with a lot, and they were champs in that arena.
Yeah. All right. They win.
I think, real quick, I think it was a really good choice as far as like the production and the directing, that they didn't show us what the other school did.
They couldn't have.
They couldn't have, because we were going to make it worse. They couldn't have showed us that, or else it wouldn't have been believable that they won.
They probably shot something and realized, this is better.
That was way better. Why do we have a 6-year-old doing Michael Jackson and grabbing his crotch?
Right.
And like doing like
in a
these
military
moves,
thing.
like in the middle of it was the most uncomfortable part.
That didn't sit well with me.
Was the hip thrust.
The whole the hip thrust. I was like, I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That hit differently when I was in high school, I think. And now I'm like, why did they make that child do that? Yeah.
I don't know, but they win because no one else competed. Hooray. Good. Well, I'll give them a good job. Good job, guys. And then here's my biggest problem with the entire movie. Now it's 3 months later. They show them with new recruits, and they never resolve the romance. Ever.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
When?
At the very end, when he meets the new cadets, and there's the blind guy's dog. He says to Tiger,
"Go to Mama's house."
He goes, go to Mom and fetch my field knife. So he implies, and he calls him son. I think
it implies, and they got like one line and have a dialogue. They never show them.
No,
they never do anything.
No,
they did all of the romantic comedy beats where you have to you're like, oh, it's the meet cute, and oh, they're just starting to like each other. Oh, he leaves, and now she's mad. Like in every romantic comedy ever. But then they just didn't do the part at the end.
But it's not a romantic comedy.
But they still have the most important plot line.
There was 3 moments where it shows the 3 of them, the 2 of them together.
Yes.
It's not an important drive through the story. The story is about...
It's why he came back.
The story is about...
It's the whole reason he came back.
But it's about the kids and him. That's why they started the whole next thing with the kids.
What if they shot the closure, but it wasn't good enough, so they cut it?
Then that was still a terrible...
Yeah.
When you set it up, when you say... We're going to show this daydream of you and this woman together, and that's the whole reason you're going back.
That's just him daydreaming. That doesn't have anything to do with
what do you mean it doesn't have anything to do?
He went back.
That's the whole reason he went back.
The movie's not about them. The movie's about the kids and him.
It's about him and the kids.
The whole movie is about.
And him and her, and they left this whole plot line dangling.
Side plot, and it's not, because there was an ending comment.
Yeah, but I think that the whole thing that's wrong there is that
necessary for the story.
If it was just about him and the kids, then his daydream would have been about the kids, like winning the trophy or seeing them succeed.
That's just a ploy to keep him there. That's it.
I don't know.
Now he's back.
This
is his job. This is, so now, like with your comment, he's already married or what, let's just say they're all together. So we know the 3 of them are together, and then it's right back into what started the movie, which was him with the kids.
So all they needed was a 2-second adoring look from the sidelines.
Or a kiss, or like after they went, or something. Anything. Right? I don't want to see that again. Okay, that's fine. But regardless, the only thing we get is he comes back in and she's nursing the ankle, right? And he's says to the boys, I like you. Is that it? I like you a lot. Shut up. Don't push it. And that's it. We never see them together again ever after that. And they elevated it.
Important.
They elevated it in importance by putting her as the main focus of the daydream. That's what this is how the writers screwed up. It's the writer's fault.
All 7 of them.
For all 7 of them.
And the monkey.
For leaving, for setting it up that this is the whole reason he comes back and then never paying it off.
I disagree. I don't think it was that important because I didn't care about it at the end. I just thought it was that's cool. They're together. That's it. that ended the story for me on that plot.
That was enough for you.
That was enough
Yeah.
for me. I just didn't care.
It wasn't enough for me.
I wonder if James,
Yeah.
when he watched the first time, noticed versus now.
Well, I mean, at the time, probably not. No.
Because you're like, she's a free agent still. Sweet.
I'm like, sweet. They never got together.
I kind of wish that they did the stereotypical end of like an 80s, 90s movies
Something.
where we're like, she's in the background and she's pregnant. Like
Or some-
the implication
something.
of like married, baby's house, like,
Something.
like that was a common thing.
Like if she was
Right.
on the sideline with like a checklist, like, okay, this is what we're
Yeah.
doing today.
Helping.
Like,
She had
was
her
down
own
there
whistle.
helping,
Or
yeah.
cleaning a gun because he taught her how.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
The bare minimum that they would have had to have done to check this box, the fact that they didn't and weren't able to do it is such a failure
Yeah.
because it would have been so easy for them to add 1 second of one thing to tie up that loose end.
Yeah. She had to go film.
Man, if we got heated on this, I can't wait till Batman versus Superman.
Oh, I don't know if we're going to do that. So, all right. So he shaves a blind kid and that's the end of the movie. All right.
Well, Andy
so-
shaves the dog.
And who calls the dog a blind seeing eye dog?
Oh my
Right.
God.
And then acts like offended.
I can't. What do you need with the blind dog? He's like,
That's what I thought too. I was like, man, a crappy seeing eye dog is blind.
Which is funny, but they manufactured it backwards.
They did.
That someone would call it that
yeah.
to make the joke happen.
It's my
Right.
blind seeing eye dog.
Right. And in my head, I basically had the same response he did before he said it. I
Yeah.
was like already scribbling it down. And then he said, I was like, well, cross that out. Okay.
And also, who cuts the hair of a dog with a field knife so well?
Major Payne.
Touche.
I mean,
Unless that's his
All
code
right.
name for buzzers.
So now that we've gotten through the entire movie, if there's anything left on your list or any other thing that you noticed, like old people and the dance floor dancing in their jorts, please, now is the time we're going to talk about the little things.
I want to first start out in the beginning of the movie. There was no Universal title.
No.
It just came around. There was no music. They started it with Bad to the Bone. I thought that
Interesting.
was really interesting because
Yeah.
Universal, I mean, that's like
Maybe
that's
that's
signature sound. I mean, you hear that and you're like, yes,
You
it's
know
a
it's-
Universal
yeah.
movie.
yeah, they paid all that money for Bad to the Bone
Yeah. So I
in
just
a,
thought
in
that
a
was
weird
kinda
place. That is
interesting.
kind of a weird thing. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I thought the 90s fashion to me was my favorite thing. Like nobody in the foreground was dressed 90s because they were all in uniform. So like it could have taken place almost any time, but every once in a while, there would be civilians in the background, whether it's at the club or at the,
like the stepdad's
ceremony
outfit.
or the stepdads or whatever. You're like, oh, this is mid 90s.
it screams 90s. But like,
Oh, yeah.
when you have those moments, because you can't
Yes.
forget that it was 20 years
Right,
ago.
because you don't. Everyone's in their fatigues the whole thing. Yeah, to me, that was my favorite little thing about this movie. Was the high waisted shorts with their shirts tucked into them in the background was fantastic. Anything else? Anybody?
I'm still looking over my notes.
Okay,
Give me a second.
take a second.
Because I wrote. Oh, I still like the joke with the blind kid. We kind of skipped over that, or the deaf kid. When he was like,
Oh, the deaf
he
kid.
goes, I'm sorry, Mr. Handicap Man. I did not mean to offend you. Do you speak sign language? Do you read lips? And he was like, if you don't listen to me, I will shove my foot in your ass. It's
And
one
then
of my
the
best
worst
lines.
voice-over ever happens right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
so bad.
It's so bad.
And that to me was very cringeworthy.
That was
like,
I
ooh.
cringe.
yeah.
That was terrible.
You could have just left it at the end of that. You didn't need the voiceover. It didn't make it any funnier.
Just shake
Yeah.
your head. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's time to give some awards out to this movie now that we've left it in a smoking ruin behind us. We are going to throw some flowers on the carcass right now. And today, playing along from home from our Patreon is Mr. Craig Soto.
What's up, Craig?
So Craig has submitted his awards, and it's something that you can do too if you join. So
Wow.
join up. The link's in the show notes. So we always start with the Will Patton Award for intensity. This is not about whether it was a good or bad acting performance, but who was the most intense, who was in it to win it. And Nicole, we'll start with you. We'll go around this way.
In the beginning, the guy who was on the ground and he was hurt and then had his finger broken.
I almost gave it to him. Finger broken ground guy.
Yep. All hyphenated.
Yeah, he was great. He was great. Kurt, who'd you have as your Will Patton Award winner?
I went with Orlando Brown, the little kid.
Tiger.
Yeah. I just felt like
You thought he was intense?
at the end when he was doing the dancing, he was so into that
committed.
at
The
6
eyebrow
years
furrow.
old.
He was.
He was trying his best to just be like, I'm the leader of this team. And I just thought that was really great.
It wasn't intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Michael Jackson.
And I'm sure like that was his thing. Like they built it all in because he could do it.
Because he could do it.
Yeah.
Like at the audition, he's like, "Can you do anything, kid? What kind of weird stuff can you do?" He's
Just
like,
started yelling.
I do this Michael Jackson impression. All
Wait,
right,
wait
get it
till you
done.
see my
He
pelvic
says it
thrust.
like James Cagney. Did he talk like James Cagney in the audition?
Yeah,
Meh.
I can do this impression.
yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Annie, are you okay?
I love when cats go. "Meh."
Are you okay, Annie? Yeah.
All right, who'd you have as your Will Patton Award winner? Anna?
I went with ass eyes. Like when there's a point where they're all lined up and he's asking questions of her, and they're saying "sir, yes, sir," and
Yes.
he commits. He
does.
like just screaming, and
does.
I really
I
appreciate.
bet he couldn't
it.
have done that scene too many times because he would have lost his voice.
Well, you guys all went different directions, which means this guy's going to win because me and Craig both voted for the same person, which was Damon Wayans. I mean, come on. He's the most intense person in the entire movie. He's just 100% committed. As Craig said, super intense and annoying. Perfect for the character. Yes, Craig, I agree. So Damon Wayans will win our Will Patton Award winner. So this is the first time ever that the patron that wrote in has tipped the scales. Otherwise, it would have been a four-way tie.
The power,
The power you could wield.
the snap of the gauntlet.
Jump in. All right, time for the Michael Dudikoff Trash Can Full of Dirt Award, which is the award that we give out to who gave the worst acting performance. Craig and I did not agree on this one, but I'm interested to see what you guys think. So we'll go reverse order this time. Anna, you're going to go first. We'll go around this way.
The worst actor in the whole movie is the guy who does the voiceover for the the deaf kid.
The Sir Yes Sir guy?
Yep. Hey. Yep.
That was, that was like a production assistant or
Right.
something.
It wasn't somebody who was like entrenched in the culture of the deaf community.
No, definitely not.
He seemed to. Yep. He got.
All right.
He's the worst actor in the movie.
I haven't argued with anybody's picks yet. I can't argue with any of these. These are all good. Who you got?
My Michael Doodoo Chump award goes to
Doodoo Chump?
yeah, I don't know, whatever its last name is. It's going to I picked Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
I just thought, as far as a wrestler, like, you couldn't have sold it. Like, all right, great, you sold your hits, but you couldn't have sold a little bit more.
There could have been more pointing.
Yeah.
You like come in there and cut a promo on Damon Wayans, right? Like,
Snap into a Slim Jim or something.
Right, yeah, thank you.
Get your own
Thank you.
faster snack food.
Oh, yeah. Where's
right.
Bob?
Where's Bob?
Man. Him and his macho man.
Yeah. Who you
So,
got?
with the definition of trash can full of dirt being,
And I love how you never ever want to give this award out.
I don't like it. But you've said you could just skip them, right? And it wouldn't matter as well.
It's just more of a joke to say
They're the worst.
They're the worst.
So
They're
I went with
as good of as a trash can.
Right. Well, I just went with they're like a trash can that could be just replaced by another trash can. And for me, that's 4 of the 8 kids.
Is it a human person?
Yeah, 4 of the 8 kids.
Okay.
Because
Oh.
we don't even know who they are.
The 4 that we don't know.
Yeah, they sat there like trash cans, as
That's
they probably
true.
were told. They ate fast and got
That's
out.
fair. That's a fair one. I also went with Bam Bam Bigelow. I just thought he was terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible. The one thing, I mean, the whole part is basically coming in and trash talking somebody. And if you as a wrestler can't cut a promo on someone and make it like believable that you want to hurt them, that's like your whole job.
It's like half your job.
right?
Yeah.
This Monday in the steel cage, I'm like, well, like the whole thing, and just do your thing.
Hey, I heard these boys, you're treating them like crap. You want to go?
All the arm gestures.
I heard you are getting ready to leave. But like the
No, I wasn't getting ready to leave,
Yes,
but
it
now.
was terrible. And he immediately, imagine a guy that big and scary looking, immediately like making himself not intimidating through speaking. Like he's like, oh, he's not even scary anymore because he started talking.
Oh, this guy's an idiot. Never mind. I'm not scared.
Exactly. Craig wrote in and wrote for Dr. Phillips, William Hickey, who he said he loved in Christmas Vacation, but not so much in this movie.
I'm glad he got an honorable mention.
And right now he's like, what? I was in Major Payne? I was in that movie?
The Green Boys.
I can't even see him when they're standing in front of bushes.
I forgot. That was one of my favorite lines. Like, I can't see them when they stand in front of bushes.
All right, so our top 3 performers is the next thing. So we'll go around and I'll start this time. My number 3 was Steve Martini, who played Alex Stone. My number 2 was Chris Owen, the redheaded freckle cartoon kid. I actually thought he was really good. And then if you thought I wasn't picking Karen Parsons as number 1.
I think everybody in this room is well aware of who you're going to pick as number 1.
My forever number 1 top performer.
We need please don't go, girl.
Dreamweaver, I believe I can get this stuff to
You nailed that. By the
I
way.
love that we thought of that at the same time.
I'm having a Wayne's World moment.
I noticed I did not have Damon Wayans in my top 3.
Yeah.
He was intense, but I did not think he gave a great acting performance.
So
Who you got?
My third is also Alex / not Steve Martin, but Steve Martini.
Martini.
That would have been a whole different ukulele kind of show.
Yes.
Or no. What does he play? Is it you?
Alex.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I was talking about Steve Martin.
Banjo.
Banjo, thank you.
He doesn't play the
round.
Alex. No.
It's round. Second, I did put Damon Wayans because he had a good monologue and he stayed with it
Yeah.
throughout it. But I wasn't like, man, I want to see some more of that. But still, doing what was on paper. And I think he executive produced it, so he had a chance to really fix it. And then number 1, Tiger.
Tiger. All right. Little Wayne.
Love.
Who you got?
I went 3 with also Stephen Martini.
Okay.
I went with 2 Karen Parsons.
Okay.
And I went with Damon Wayans as number 1.
Number
only
1.
because, again, it's a character-driven... I mean, that's the whole basis of the movie.
Yeah.
It's about him. And I feel like without him selling it and without him doing the job that he did... I mean, and again, I'll compare it to Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
If Jim Carrey doesn't do the job that he does as Ace Ventura, that movie is pointless.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it makes sense that you would pick him as number 1 because you liked the movie.
I did. I love the
so
movie.
if you like the movie, you like Major Payne.
Yeah.
Right?
So
I didn't. So like Major Payne, I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I went with The Principal as my number 3. Just because I just really like that he calls them the Green Boys. I don't know. Alex totally got number 2 for me because I had a huge old crush on him when I was
That hair.
young. Yeah.
The middle part was doing it for you?
Yeah. Just 15, 16-year-old Anna just loved him. And then Damon Wayans on the whole point.
Well, it's like you both love the movie, so I'm not surprised.
20 years later, I am still quoting in the same annoying voice.
Yep.
These these lines that just stuck with me. So I felt like I had to give it to him.
Sure.
Solely because without him and that character-driven performance, obviously, then I wouldn't have those.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so for Craig, his top 3 were number 3, he had Karen Parsons. Sorry, you're not going to be allowed to do this anymore. Number 2, he had Tiger. He had Orlando Brown. And then number 1, he also had Damon Wayans. So that's from Craig Soto. Thanks for playing along at home, Craig. And now we ask the question, is this a bad movie? Is it a bad movie that rules? Or is it a straight up good movie? Are we going to marry the subjective to the objective? What do you think, Nicole? Just be honest.
I think it's a bad movie.
Okay. Full stop.
That's it.
Okay. Kurt.
Bad movie that rules.
All right.
Bad movie that rules.
I will also say it's a bad movie that rules, although I'm not as high on it as you guys. But I can't say it's all bad.
It's like a small kingdom.
I don't know if I would have that same impression if I saw it for the first time now.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because we grew up with it. And we talk about that a lot with these movies.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's a nostalgia, Masters of the Universe is a big one for me.
Yeah.
I love the movie. Is it all bad? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I still love it because
still
I was
love
a
it.
kid when I saw it.
No, when you've seen stuff at a certain age, it just sticks with you regardless of quality.
Yeah, it's like, this now has become a core memory.
Yeah,
and this is
exactly.
this is ingrained in my personality now.
Like, I don't know. I would like to find out if I go and watch Karate Kid and feel the same way a lot of you guys
You
do.
probably won't.
And yeah, I felt the
probably
same
won't.
way with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, when you
Or
finally saw Willy Wonka. Yeah.
When
that
I
makes
finally
me really sad. 'cause
I
love
saw
that
the Johnny Depp
Yeah.
version first, and that really made him mad.
Oh, I'm offended.
Yeah,
So he likes
so
the
is
Johnny
he.
Depp version and doesn't like the other one because he saw the other one first, which makes sense.
Yeah.
If you saw that one first, you probably would like that one
Yeah,
better.
and I would have had some sort of nostalgicness to
Yeah.
it. But I just felt like he was a creepy uncle in that one.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so you know who's not a creepy uncle? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, I didn't even think about this. Oh, I'm so excited.
And would he make Major Payne better? And I think the answer is absolutely 100% yes. In any part. any part, even as the title character, it would have been a totally different movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Damon Wayans wrote it to fit his voice, but it basically would have been kindergarten cop, but with the military, and Arnold coming in as a killing machine who now has to take over, like teaching these junior ROTC kids would have been awesome. It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
If you would have taken the original movie that this movie is based off of, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The Charlton Heston one.
Yeah, the Private War of Major Benson.
Yes.
I think that would have been a huge...
Did you know this was a remake?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they just race baited and switched and did all sorts
Back
of
in
stuff.
1955, there was a black and white Charlie Heston movie called that.
Really?
Yeah,
this is a remake.
1955, you said? Yeah.
1955.
I was like, his name is Benson too. Wait a minute.
I had no idea.
No, I didn't know.
But so that's the thing. I think it would be amazing just to do that. But if you want to keep Damon Wayans in the part and just add Arnold in, Bam Bam Bigelow. You swap him out for that part,
and
have Arnold come in. It would have been way better.
Sure, absolutely.
I can't do
I
a
agree
good
with you.
Arnold impression.
This guy does.
But Arnold saying like,
I heard it's time for you to leave. Now is the time you will be leaving.
He just sticks out. He sticks out so much in a movie that he would take over whatever scene. Like he doesn't blend in.
No, he doesn't.
The water on my kneecap will quench your thirst.
Yeah. Drink it now.
Oh my God.
All right.
get to the chopper.
Who is your daddy? But I was just thinking of his dad shows up. All right, sorry.
Who's your daddy and what does he do?
All right, so thank you guys for coming in, first of all. Anna, thanks for coming in and for being part of this. I hope you had a good time. Kurt was also here. Nicole, thank you. I'm just kidding. Kurt, was this the last one of the ones you drafted, or is there any left? Oh, Batman versus Superman.
Batman versus Superman.
I'm wondering how many more of your Ace hardcore.
Ventura 2.
Oh, Ace Ventura 2.
Short Circuit.
And Short Circuit.
Oh yeah.
Because how many more? And then we got to do Transformers the movie. I'm trying to think of all the Kurt movies we still have to do.
Well, there's Transformers the movie. I didn't know if you still wanted to do G.I. Joe the movie, the cartoon, because I've been wanting to do that. And
I don't know
then
if I ever saw that.
Rover Dangerfield is another one I think is a horrible animated movie.
That one I'm gonna keep fighting against, but we'll see if the people at home want to see it, we'll do it.
Did anybody ever see that?
So write in if anyone's seen Rover Dangerfield and you're dying for a BMR episode, write in, and if some people support Kurt in this, we'll make it happen. Okay.
But yeah, those are like the main ones.
Okay. Cool. Nicole, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure.
What an absolute treat.
Were you so happy that we made you watch this movie?
I was not.
I'll never get those 2 hours of my life back.
You're talking about not getting 2 hours of your life back. Next week, I can't believe we're going to subject ourselves to this again. Next week, we're talking about American Ninja 2. We're getting back on board the Michael Dudikoff Express. This one has to be better, right? It has to be.
I don't think so. I think it only gets worse from here.
It's not better, is it?
I don't think so.
All right. Well,
you're in for a ride.
In for a ride. Join us next week for American Ninja 2. In the meantime, on behalf of Anna and Kurt and Nicole, I'm James Hauser. Thank you for listening. I forgot my favorite line of the movie, which was, if you want sympathy, you have to look in the dictionary between shit and syphilis.
There's no way he comes up with ready? There's no way he comes up with that immediately, the character.
No.
No.